Chapter 901. Su Shimao blushed, stumbling, not knowing how to explain. David smiled slightly. It's okay, the Valley Master of Medicine God Valley, was also forced to put up a title. The ones who are really in charge are Elder Su and the others. Yes, Su Shimao nodded again and again, looking very embarrassed. Don't be stunned, eat the body training pill, and hurry up and train. David said. As soon as Zhao Waoqi waved his hand, the captains of the various teams came over immediately, took the training pills and distributed them. Thank you, Instructor Chen. The members of the Dharma Protector Pavilion who got the body training pills were excited and thanked David loudly. Since I promised to be your instructor, these are what I should do. David laughed. Mr. Chen, you go to rest now. I made an appointment with Director Guo of the Martial Arts Alliance at night, and we will sit together at that time. As long as the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance comes forward, I believe that other people will be afraid of dealing with Mr. Chen. Zhao Waoqi approached David's ear and said softly. There is Pavilion Master Lao Zhao. David said gratefully. Mr. Chen has seen the outside world. You are now a member of our Guardian Pavilion. Your business is mine. It's just that I am soft-spoken. Please don't move the leader of the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance. Zhao Waoqi said very embarrassedly. I am very grateful that Pavilion Master Zhao can do this. David is indeed grateful to Zhao Waoqi from the bottom of his heart. In this place in Kyoto, only Zhao Waoqi and the Bai family can be trusted by David. In the evening, a member of the Guardian Pavilion came over to invite David to go to the hall. When David arrived in the hall, he saw an old man wearing a black training suit sitting in the hall. Zhao Waoqi was full of smiles as he poured tea for the old man himself. Seeing David coming, Zhao Waoqi hurriedly waved his hand and followed David to introduce, Mr. Chen, this is Director Guo Wei Guo of the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance. David glanced at Guo Wei, close to the strength of Wuzong's peak. Such strength is afraid that even Long Wu may not be an opponent. With such a high strength, he did not hide his breath at all. It seemed that Guo Wei did it on purpose. Director Guo, hello. David extended his hand and said politely. It's just that Guo Wei glanced at David coldly, did not shake hands with David, but said lightly, Are you David? Yes. David smiled awkwardly and withdrew his outstretched hand. Zhao Waoqi glanced at David apologetically, but David didn't blame Zhao Waoqi. It seems that Zhao Waoqi took great pains to invite this Director Guo. It seems that this Kyoto Protector Pavilion is nothing in the eyes of the Martial Dao Alliance, and Zhao Waoqi, the Hall Master of the Protector Pavilion, is also worthless. In Suolong Island, is it you who swallowed the dragon crystal? Guo Wei continued to ask. David was stunned for a moment, but didn't answer immediately, because he didn't know what Guo Wei was going to do. Director Guo, Mr. Chen he. Guo Wei waved his hand and interrupted Zhao Waoqi's words, looking at David coldly. David gritted his teeth. Yes, I am the one who swallowed the dragon crystal. Seeing David's admission, Guo Wei suddenly laughed. You don't have to be so nervous. I have no interest in the Longjing you devoured, and I will not kill you for Longjing. Longjing is a treasure for you, but for our Martial Arts Alliance, there are more precious things than Longjing. Seeing Guo Wei say this, David's heart was a little relieved. If Guo Wei peeped at his own Longjing and shot himself, David would not have the slightest power to fight back. Close to the strength of Wuzong's peak, David can't fight at all. Chapter 902. The current David needs to break through the fasting period as soon as possible, enter the stage of forming an elixir, and form an inner elixir in his Danshan. At that time, his strength will have a qualitative leap. At that time, David was also equivalent to stepping into the realm of Wuzong. With the dragon-slaying sword in his hand, he might have the power to fight with the peak of Wuzong. With David's current strength, facing the peak of Wuzong, he has no chance at all. That is, what kind of treasures Director Guo has never seen before, how can he see a mere dragon crystal? Zhao Waoqi hurriedly touted it aside. Zhao Pavilion Master, you don't have to tout me, I'm not interested in Longjing, but you know what I like, and I hope you promise me, you can do it. Guo Wei said coldly, not complacent because of Zhao Waoqi's flattery. Hearing Guo Wei's words, Zhao Waoqi paused for a while, then nodded and said, I promise Director Guo, and I will definitely do it, but Mr. Chen. Don't worry, in the name of the Martial Arts Association, I will send a notice to the various clans. Before the international competition, no one can touch David. After all, he represents my country, Daxia. Guo Wei said. Thank you so much Director Guo. When Zhao Waoqi heard this, he immediately became happy. As long as the major sects and families don't trouble David before the game, when the game is over, he can secretly send David out of the capital, and David can hide anywhere. After Guo Wei glanced at David again, he got up and left. When he was leaving, Guo Wei suddenly flicked his finger, and a white light entered David's body instantly. David's face was startled, and he hurriedly wanted to force the white light out, but his spiritual power ran for a week, but he couldn't find the white light. Director Guo. Zhao Waoqi was also flustered. He didn't understand that Guo Wei was right, how could he suddenly attack David? You don't need to panic, I just branded him, he is not allowed to leave the capital until my business is done. Guo Wei left immediately after speaking. David frowned slightly, and probed his body again, but couldn't find the brand at all. It's not a loss to be a master at the peak of Wuzong, he is really amazing. David watched helplessly as the other party branded him, but he couldn't stop it, and he couldn't even find out the trace of the stigma, which showed that the gap in strength was too great. After sending Guo Wei away, Zhao Waoqi walked back and said, Mr. Chen, you can rest assured now, the Martial Arts Alliance has spoken, those sects and noble families will not dare to do anything to you for the time being. Gate Master Zhao, what conditions did you agree to that person? David knew that the reason why Guo Wei helped him was entirely because Zhao Waoqi agreed to the other party's request. It's nothing, Mr. Chen, just feel at ease and prepare for the competition, I'll take care of the other things. Zhao Waoqi didn't say anything. Seeing that Zhao Waoqi didn't say anything, David didn't ask any further questions. David didn't know anything about the intricate relationship network in Kyoto, so it was useless. The next day, the Martial Arts Alliance spread a message on the Martial Arts Forum, David has joined the Dharma Protection Pavilion and will participate in the international competition in a few days. No sect family is allowed to trouble David. This news directly exploded. The last time David fought Qin Xiaolin and killed Qin Xiaolin, there was once a wave on the forum, but only a part of it was known. Many martial arts masters would not pay attention at all. After all, it is a battle of low-level strength, and they are not interested. Chapter 903. But this time is different. This is the news from the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance. No matter which region of the Great Xia Kingdom is, the sect family will pay attention to this news. Who is this David? He was able to invite the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance to speak for him. Is it this guy who devoured Longjing? What power is behind this kid? Wouldn't he be the son of a noble family? It's awesome, I can let the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance speak for me in my life, it's worth dying. Many people on the forum had lively discussions, and the name David instantly became a household name in the martial arts world. But this is not the result David wanted. He just wanted to practice in a low-key and peace of mind. When his strength allowed, he would kill the Long family, rescue his mother, and the man who lost his mother. It is David's biological father. David now wants to know who his father is. Such a perverted condensing art can control the ring of the entire dragon sect. This is not something that ordinary people can have. A force like Wuying Mountain Villa is only a hall of the dragon sect. It can be seen how perverted the dragon sect is. When the time comes to find out all the 13 halls of the dragon sect, David can't believe how powerful the dragon sect will be at that time, and as the head of the dragon sect, it should be no problem to destroy a dragon family. The current David doesn't know that in the future, he will fight the entire world and even the entire star field as the master of the dragon sect, and the strength of the dragon sect has long exceeded his imagination. Xian Yuan Family Hall. Damn, how did this kid climb into the Martial Arts Alliance? Xian Yuanyan looked at the news from the Martial Arts Alliance on the forum, and threw the phone in his hand to the ground in anger. Brother, this must have been said from above. The Martial Arts Alliance has given a face. No matter how you say that, David is playing on behalf of the Guardian Pavilion. I think he may just want to use his official identity to provide himself with protection. Xian Yuanrong said aside. Humph, as an instructor of the Protectorate Pavilion, I still can't protect him. When he finishes the game, I'll see who will protect him. Xuan Yuanyan's eyes flashed with murderous intent. One of his son's arm was chopped off by David, Xian Yuanrong was beaten and humiliated by David again, and Xian Yuanyan and David did not get any advantage, which made Xian Yuanyan mad for a long time. Dragon Family. Long Jingguo looked at the news sent by the Martial Arts Alliance, his eyes narrowed slightly, and the expression on his face could not be seen as sadness or joy. This kid seems to have some means. He knows to use the power of the official family, and then let the Martial Arts Alliance help him speak. Long Jingguo said lightly. Patriarch, the news of the Martial Arts Alliance is not aimed at our Long family. It should be sent to other sect families. After all, many sect families are spying on the Longjing in David's body, especially the Xian Yuan family. Xian Yuan Kai's hand was chopped off by this kid, and he also robbed Xian Yuanrong of the position of the instructor of the Protectorate Pavilion, now that Xian Yuanyan is probably going to be mad. Long Xingxiu said aside. Looking at this kid's temperament, he has some blood from my dragon family. If this David is really my nephew, I would still be reluctant to kill him. Long Jingguo smiled coldly. Patriarch, raising tigers is a problem. If this David is really the son of the eldest young lady, I am afraid that in the future. Are you teaching me to do things? Long Jingguo frowned slightly, and the incomparably cold aura on his body instantly enveloped Long Xingxiu. Long Xingxiu was so frightened that he sweated profusely, and hurriedly knelt to the ground. Patriarch, I know I was wrong. Remember, you are only a side branch of the Long family, don't really think of yourself as the eldest young master of the Long family. Pay attention to your own identity. Long Jingguo's eyes were sharp. Chapter 904. Long Jingguo's position as the head of the family was not easy to come by, but he took great pains to obtain the position of head of the family because he did not recognize his 6 relatives and blocked his own father. He regards this position as more important than anything else. Of course, he will not let the side branches of the Long family interfere in the affairs of the Long family. They only know how to be obedient and do things. I remember. Long Xingxiu nodded again and again. You also send a message on behalf of my Long family, no one can kill that David, otherwise don't blame my Long family for turning his face. If David is really his nephew, Long Jingguo still intends to threaten his sister with David's life. If David dies, it will lose its value. Understood, Long Xingxiu withdrew. Soon, on the martial arts forum, another message jumped out. It was released by the Long family, warning all the aristocratic families not to kill David. The Martial Arts Alliance and the Long family all spoke out for David together, which shocked everyone in the martial arts world. None of them understood why the Long family suddenly jumped out to save David's life. Could it be that David has something to do with the Long family? David followed the Long family to know about this matter. After all, this kind of thing is a family scandal. How could the Long family publicize it and let everyone know? Mr. Chen, take a look. Zhao Waoqi took the news from the Long family on the Martial Dao forum and hurriedly found David. This Long family even spoke out to protect Mr. Chen. Does Mr. Chen have any origins with the Long family? Zhao Waoqi was very strange. He had never heard of David's relationship with the Long family. If David really had a relationship with the Long family, then they wouldn't have to use their official identity to protect them in Kyoto. David looked at the news sent by the Long family. Although he did not know why the Long family sent this news, it was certain that the Long family must have doubted his identity. At that time, both Long Wu and Irvin had warned him to keep a low profile as much as possible, so that the sooner the Long family found him, the better. After all, David could spend more time cultivating. But right now, the Long family must have doubted his identity. The reason why such a message was issued is because only David was captured by the Long family alive, and it would be useful to the Long family. I have nothing to do with the Long family. Maybe they saw the news sent by the Martial Arts Alliance, so let's follow suit. David said casually. Seeing this, Zhao Waoqi didn't ask any questions. With the power of the Long family, how could it be used to gain popularity? There were quite a few vassal families under the Long family, almost accounting for 1/3 of the entire Kyoto martial arts world. Moreover, the Long family is also very important in the Martial Arts Alliance, and has a strong right to speak, so there is no need for the popularity of the Martial Arts Alliance. With the news from the Martial Arts Alliance and the Long family in the Martial Arts Forum, David must be safe before the game. No sect family would dare to attack David at this time, unless they don't want to live anymore. David is also like a talisman. He wanders around Kyoto all day. Anyway, there are still a few days before the game, and David is just wandering around Kyoto. Originally, he wanted to see Zhao Liguo and see how Zhao Liguo was recovering, but in the end he didn't go because David knew that he was a celebrity in the martial arts world at this time. If he went to Wuying Mountain Villa, he said it may also bring disaster to Wuying Mountain Villa. Because he was not very familiar with Kyoto, David made Bai Zhantang, a native of Kyoto, as his guide. Xiaolan also followed David, eating Kyoto delicacies and visiting the beautiful scenery of Kyoto, not to mention how happy she was. Zhantang, Kyoto has always been the imperial capital. Many imperial tombs are here, just take us for a walk. David wanted Bai Zhantang to take him to the emperor's tomb. Chapter 905. The tombs of emperors have always been filled with treasures. Maybe that kind of place is full of spiritual energy. If you are lucky, you might even pick up a treasure. Mr. Chen wants to go, then I'll take you there. Bai Zhantang drove the car. Actually, there is nothing to see in those imperial tombs. Many of them have been excavated. What I see now are all refurbished, that is, fake. It's not interesting. When David heard this, his originally high interest also dropped a lot in an instant, but since he has already headed there, just take a look. Soon, David and the others arrived at the place. There are tens of thousands of square meters here, and there are more than a dozen tombs of various sizes. Because it is not a tourist time, not many people visit here. Around these mausoleums are some low hills with lush green trees and a good environment. In front of the hills is a small river only a few meters wide, which is estimated to be artificially excavated. There are mountains and waters. After these emperors died, they all enjoyed so much. David sighed involuntarily. Mr. Chen, wait a moment, I'll go buy a ticket. Bai Zhantang wanted to buy a ticket, but was stopped by David. No need to go, there's nothing to see, let's just walk around outside. As soon as David got out of the car, he had already noticed that the aura here was very weak, and there was no aura from those treasures that David imagined. It seems that this place has really been hollowed out, and now there is only a frame for later repairs. The three of David walked towards the hill along the artificially excavated river. Although the aura here has not changed much, the air is a lot fresher. In addition, it is sparsely populated. If you come here to relax, it is still a good place. After passing a small bridge, when he was about to walk up the hill, David suddenly stopped, and then his brows were slightly wrinkled, and he instantly exuded divine consciousness. A few hundred meters in radius, all appeared in David at this moment. Peace of mind. What a powerful breath! David felt a strong aura, and just based on the aura he felt, the other party must have reached Wuzong. But in this place, how could Wuzong appear? And he also exudes his own breath, obviously with a warning sign, warning other warriors not to approach. Mr. Chen, there seems to be someone here, and he has drawn this place as his own territory. Bai Zhantang also felt this tyrannical aura, but he couldn't feel the realm strength of the other party. This is a public place, not someone's, we just need to move forward. David said lightly. David wanted to go and see what this Wuzong was doing. If he knew the dignified Wuzong, he would not come to this place to practice, and he would not easily expose his breath. Now that the other party is doing this, there must be something wrong. David and the others continued to move forward. The further they went, the stronger the tyrannical aura, but accompanied by that aura, David actually felt another aura from it. A glimpse, how can there be yin here? Is it an evil cultivator? If this is an evil cultivator, then it is possible. After all, evil cultivators can't see it and need to practice in a place with few people. This is the right place. Hearing Xieshu, Bai Zhantang and Xiaolan's expressions changed slightly, but David's face became more and more excited. If it is really an evil cultivator, then David is welcome. He can just use this evil cultivator's cultivation base to help himself cultivate, absorb the cultivation base of these evil cultivators, and there will be no one in the martial arts world to accuse and manage. After all, there is no good person in the evil cultivator, all rely on absorbing the energy of others, or absorbing the yin qi to cultivate. Chapter 906. As David and the others got closer, the powerful aura became stronger and stronger. Finally, David and the others came to the hill, and saw an old man sitting cross-legged on the ground about tens of meters away, and around the old man, 7 crystal balls with shining rays of light were constantly surrounding the old man. Rotate. 7-star array. Seeing this, David said with some surprise. Who? David's voice instantly alerted the old man. 7 crystal balls flashing light instantly attacked David and them, and a figure rushed over at the same time. When the 7 crystal balls arrived in front of David and the others, they immediately surrounded David and the others. At this moment, the old man has also appeared in front of David. Who are you? Why are you spying on my practice? The old man's face was cold and full of majesty. We're just here for sightseeing, we didn't mean to disturb your cultivation. David found that the old man in front of him was in the realm of Wuzong, but he was not a cultivator, because he did not feel a trace of yin from the old man, but at this moment, yin was constantly emerging from the ground. Art, I can see at a glance that you are warriors, and your strength has reached the peak of the great master. How could you have inadvertently entered? I have released breath for hundreds of meters around here, you can't feel indifferent arrive. The old man glared at David and believed what David said at all. Since you don't believe me, I can't do anything about it, but I don't think you're practicing. This 7-star formation seems to be used to locate a cave and explore tombs. You set up a 7-star formation here. Could it be that this is an ancient tomb? David pretended to be confused. Feeling the yin qi emerging from the ground, David had long guessed that there might be a mausoleum under this hill, otherwise there would not be so much yin qi. Hearing David's words, the old man's eyes flashed brightly, and an invisible murderous aura enveloped David and the others. It seems that David said it, this guy wants to kill David and the others. What nonsense are you talking about? Where are the ancient tombs here? I'm just practicing, I advise you to get out of here, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. The old man narrowed his eyes and said coldly. It's not your home, let's go shopping, and it's your turn to take care of it. David said indifferently. Boy, do you know who I am? I'm Hu Baqi of the Hu family. You don't want to ask. In this capital city, how many people dare to provoke my Hu family? The old man threatened David with a gloomy expression. The Hu family. David looked blank, not knowing what the Hu family was. After hearing about the Hu family, Bai Zhantang's expression changed slightly. Mr. Chen, this Hu family is a family that is as famous as the Xianyuan family, Pilaman and Wuying Mountain Villa, but the Hu family has always made a living by finding caves and robbing tombs, and many hidden tombs are those found by the Hu family. Many families will cooperate with the Hu family to explore the tomb and treasure together. When David heard it, he was even more convinced that the Hu Beki in front of him must have discovered the ancient tomb here, and it was definitely not a practice. You look for your tomb, I'll go my way, we have nothing to do with each other, just keep working. After David finished speaking, he winked at Bai Zhantang and Xiaolan, and the three continued to walk forward. Seeing this, Hu Beki was stunned for a moment, and then his anger rose up. Boy, I don't give face to my Hu family, it seems that you are tired of living. After he finished speaking, Hu Beki slapped David with his palm, and a terrifying aura swept in like a gust of wind. In Hu Beki's eyes, David and the others were already dead. As Wu Zong, it was not easy for him to deal with several great masters. Chapter 907. Hu Beki's palm shot directly at David's head, obviously thinking of killing him with one blow. Tiny. The corner of David's mouth raised slightly, then he turned around and shot out with a palm. Bang! After a dull sound, Hu Beki felt a strong force attack, and the whole person flew out in an instant, and the whole arm was shaken with faint pain. This. Hu Beki looked at David in shock. He didn't understand. How could David be the pinnacle of a great master? How could he force his Wu Zong back? Who the H3LL are you? Hu Beki asked with a solemn expression. I can't change my name, I can't change my surname, David is me. David smiled slightly. David, are you David? Hu Beki's eyes were wide open, his face full of surprise. The recent David, he can be regarded as a celebrity in the martial arts world. Almost no one does not know him. The Martial Arts Alliance and the Long family all speak out for David, which is rare in the martial arts world. You know me too? David asked when he saw Hu Beki's expression. It seems that you can have the Martial Dao Alliance and the Long family to protect you. It seems that you have some real skills. Today is a misunderstanding. If you have the opportunity, please come to our Hu family as a guest. After Hu Beki finished speaking, he made a random move and returned all 8 crystal balls to his hands, then turned around and left. After Hu Beki left, Bai Zhantang looked at David and said, Mr. Chen, is this really an ancient tomb? I don't know either, it's just that there is yin qi in the ground, and there should be a tomb below, but the yin qi is not strong, so I'm not sure, I'll investigate it first. After David finished speaking, his eyes closed slightly, and he walked with his eyes closed according to the position of the 5 elements and gossip. After David passed by, there were deep traces left on the ground, and these traces soon formed the pattern of the gossip. David stood in the middle of the Bagua map, golden light appeared in his palm, and then the golden light in his hand kept popping up and falling around the Bagua map. Buzzing! After a roar, the whole hill seemed to be shaking, but it soon returned to calm. Afterwards, the golden light around the gossip chart disappeared, and the gossip chart on the ground became lighter and lighter, and finally could not be seen. Mr. Chen, how is it? Bai Zhantang hurried over to ask. David sweated coldly on his forehead, but he couldn't hide his excitement and said, this is indeed an ancient tomb, and it is also an imperial mausoleum, but this imperial mausoleum is imprisoned by a formation. I can't detect the situation inside, but it is inside there will be treasures for sure. Emperor's Mausoleum. Bai Zhantang looked puzzled, didn't all those emperor mausoleums be excavated nearby? Why is there still an emperor mausoleum here? Hasn't anyone discovered it for so many years? Didn't I say, this imperial mausoleum is imprisoned by the formation, and it is impossible to find it outside. If it is not because the formation is old, its effectiveness has weakened, and it emits a trace of yin. I am afraid that no one will be able to find it. Yes, it must be that Hubei also felt the yin qi emanating from here, so he used the 7-star array to explore the tomb here. David explained. Then what should we do? We dug this place. Bai Zhantang asked excitedly. You must know that there are treasures everywhere in the Emperor's mausoleum, and maybe there will be things to assist in cultivation. Can't dig, David shook his head. The competition was about to begin. David didn't have time to dig the tomb, not to mention that if the digging was carried out with great fanfare, other sect families would definitely know, and those people would watch David dig. Mr. Chen, if we don't dig, I'm afraid that the Hu family won't let it go. When the time comes, the Hu family will take the lead, and we will have nothing. Bai Zhantang said anxiously. Chapter 908. Don't worry, then Hubei shouldn't be convinced that this is an ancient tomb. I'm temporarily sealing it with a formation so that they can't find it out. We'll make plans later. After David finished speaking, his palm suddenly turned over, and light blue flames appeared on David's palm. Then David flicked his fingers, and the light blue flames shot towards the surroundings, fell to the ground, and instantly drilled into the soil. Looking at David's miraculous means, Bai Zhantang was both envious and admired. He didn't know when he was able to follow David so powerfully. Don't talk to anyone about what happened today, David told Bai Zhantang and Xiaolan. Don't worry, Mr. Chen. Bai Zhantang nodded. If someone knew about such an imperial mausoleum, they would try their best to dig it out. In the face of huge interests, many people would not die. Not long after David took Bai Zhantang and the others away, Hubei quietly returned again. It took a few hours to use the 7-star array to explore the entire hill, but nothing was found. Am I feeling wrong? Hubei looked puzzled and finally had to leave. In a few days, the international competition officially begins. Experts from 5 countries gathered in Daxia. These 5 countries are Xiong country, Arrow country, Island country, India country, and Thai country. This international competition has directly attracted the attention of many aristocratic families in the martial arts world, because this time there is a swordsman Ichiro Watanabe who has followed the island country. The martial arts world of Daxia is too familiar with this swordsman Ichiro Watanabe. In an international competition 6 years ago, Ichiro Watanabe used his superb swordsmanship to defeat 5 people in Daxia in a row. 3 of them died of serious injuries. That competition became a shame for Daxia. Ichiro Watanabe, and on the martial arts stage, openly humiliated the martial arts world of Daxia, which angered the martial arts world of Daxia, and many people began to plan to kill Ichiro Watanabe on his way back to China. Later, he came forward at the top. Stop this behavior. However, the Daxia martial arts world also remembered this person. In the martial arts world, there are countless real heroes and heroes, but these people will not choose to join the official, nor will they participate in the competition. This makes Ichiro Watanabe really think that there are no masters in the martial arts world of Daxia, and he recognizes people and bullies him. After that time, Ichiro Watanabe never came to Daxia again, nor did he participate in the competition. I heard that he was in retreat. And this time Ichiro Watanabe came to Daxia again, which instantly attracted the interest of many aristocratic families in the martial arts world, ready to watch this match. In addition, there are many people who want to see how sacred this David is, so that the Martial Arts Alliance and the Long family can protect him together. The Hall of the Kyoto Protectorate. At this time, everyone in the Dharma Protector Pavilion gathered here, and Zhao Waoqi's face was very solemn. This time, that Watanabe Ichiro actually came again, and I heard that after this retreat, this guy's strength has increased a lot, and now no one knows what level this Watanabe Ichiro has reached. I'm afraid Mr. Chen, he. Zhao Waoqi was worried that David was no match for Ichiro Watanabe. If David is really not Watanabe Ichiro's opponent, then David is in danger. This Watanabe Ichiro often puts his opponent to death when fighting. However, there are rules in the martial arts field, and you must sign a life and death battle, so even if you kill the opponent, you will not be punished. After all, swords have no eyes. It's just that many participating parties will stop at it. After all, there is no injustice and no hatred. But this Watanabe Ichiro is not like this. The people who fight against him are either killed or injured, and they are all seriously injured. Chapter 909. Gate Master Zhao, what should we do? This time there is a team competition. If Mr. Chen really loses to that Watanabe Ichiro, in the team competition, we're afraid. Su Shimao didn't go on, but everyone knew what he was going to say. If David really loses to Watanabe Ichiro, when the team competition is over, the Kyoto Protectorate will have no support, and the casualties will definitely be serious. This Watanabe Ichiro is particularly ruthless towards Daxia people, which is why after the match 6 years ago, the indignation of the Daxia martial arts world was aroused, and many people were ready to kill this Watanabe Ichiro. Zhao Waoqi is in a dilemma. Now he doesn't know what to do. If he uses the lives of all the members of the Guardian Pavilion to bet that David can win, Zhao Waoqi does not have the courage. But now if he admits defeat and doesn't participate in the competition, then he and the entire Kyoto Dharma Protector Pavilion will become a laughing stock, and perhaps there will be no such department in the future. Gate Master Zhao, I will fight with all my strength. Unless I die, I will not let Ichiro Watanabe leave alive. At this time, David walked in from outside. Mr. Chen, Zhao Waoqi hurriedly greeted him, then Ichiro Watanabe was already in the realm of Wuzong 6 years ago. At that time, the 5 Wuzongs of us fought with him and failed to defeat him. Bian Ichiro has just come out of retreat, and his strength must have increased a lot. Gate Master Zhao, if you believe me, you don't need to say more. After David finished speaking, he looked at all the people in the Protector Pavilion and said, have you believed me in David? If you believe me, then follow me to the game, before a snowfall. Shame! Wow! Everyone in the Law Enforcement Pavilion stood up and said with firm eyes, we believe Instructor Chen, we are willing to be ashamed with Instructor Chen. The members of the Dharma Protector Pavilion have high fighting spirit one by one. Looking at the high-spirited team members, David and Zhao Waoqi looked at each other and smiled. The competition is not only about strength, but also about spirit and will. The sudden increase in the team competition this time was initiated by the island country. They believed that the overall strength of the Daxia Protectorate Pavilion was low, so they wanted to take the opportunity to make the Law Protector Pavilion collapse. Now it is obviously impossible to temporarily increase the strength of the team members, and we can only find a way to increase the fighting spirit of the team members. David set off towards the competition venue with everyone in the Protectorate Pavilion. At this time, the stadium in the suburbs of Kyoto was already full of people, and tens of thousands of people came to watch this international game. Many people came because of Ichiro Watanabe and David, and many people came with a learning attitude. After all, such an international exchange competition is rare. After David brought people there, he found that the teams from other countries had already arrived, and they were sitting on the benches under the ring in turn. As the pavilion master of the Dharma Protector Pavilion, Zhao Waoqi found his seat and sat down, while David was standing behind Zhao Waoqi. On Zhao Waoqi's left side, there was a blonde girl with blue eyes, wearing a beautiful skirt, and behind the girl was a strong man with a back and a waist, a height of 2 meters, with bulging muscles. David knew that this was Xiangguo's team, but he didn't know how to let a little girl lead the team. Just when David was crowding the girl also turned her head and looked at David. Hello, my name is Anna. The girl greeted David in fluent Daxia dialect. David looked at Zhao Waoqi, wondering if it was appropriate to talk to the other party in such an occasion. Mr. Chen, this is Princess Anna, the daughter of Duke Ross, this time she came in place of her father. Zhao Waoqi followed David to explain. Hello, my name is David Chen. David smiled and said hello to Anna. Chapter 910. The strength of the great master dares to participate in the competition. I don't know if I should admire your courage or remind you. Anna looked at David and shook her head slightly, then turned her head and said to the strong man behind her, Andrew, if you encounter this David in the arena, let him do some tricks. I don't want any injuries. Human accident, we must know that brothers Xiong and Daxia are friendly neighbors. Don't worry, Princess Anna, if I meet this skinny monkey in Daxia, I won't do anything. Andrew said contemptuously. Pay attention to your words. Princess Anna roared at Andrew. Andrew stopped talking, but there was still contempt in his eyes, because he looked down on David, who was a head shorter than him. David didn't care, whether he had strength or not, he would know it after a test in the ring, and it was meaningless to fight. At this time, David felt a sense of consciousness that suddenly enveloped him, and David instantly followed that sense of consciousness. Not far away, a man in a kimono with a long sword in his arms was staring at him. Mr. Chen, that is Ichiro Watanabe, known as the Sword Saint of the island country. Zhao Waoqi followed David to introduce. After that, Ichiro Watanabe used his spiritual sense to probe David, and then he directly retracted his spiritual sense. He didn't look at this side with an indifferent look. Maybe he felt that David's strength was only a great master, and he lost interest in an instant. Andrew, if you face this Watanabe Ichiro, can you be sure of winning? Anna asked Andrew. Princess Anna, what Watanabe Ichiro relies on is his movement and swordsmanship. My body is almost invulnerable now. When Watanabe Ichiro encounters me, he will definitely lose. Andrew said very proudly. That's good. Princess Anna nodded. Soon, a host wearing a training suit and holding a microphone stepped onto the ring. Everyone, today is a triennial international competition. The purpose of our competition is to allow countries to exchange martial arts experience. It is best not to hurt anyone. In addition, this year, according to the suggestion of the island country delegation, this time there will be more competitions. A team game. The rules of the team competition are very simple, that is, we will put each participating team on an island, and we will put a night pearl on the island. The team that takes the lead in getting the night pearl and returns safely will belong to one. Other teams can snatch the night pearl. There are no other binding rules. No matter how you got the night pearl, as long as you can get the night pearl back, you will win. But we still pay attention to friendship first and competition second. It is best not to have casualties and intentional killings. This is to be condemned. As soon as the host's voice fell, everyone present was surprised and shocked. The team competition was suddenly added, and there are such competition rules. Although it is said that intentional killing is not allowed, such a team competition process is obviously designed to allow each team to kill each other. And this was proposed by the island country. Obviously, the guys from the island country have calculated it, and this time they have Ichiro Watanabe leading the team. It seems that they want to kill the other teams. Let's invite representatives of various countries to come to the stage to draw lots, and then decide the game according to the lottery. After the host finished speaking, representatives of various countries took the stage. David followed Andrew to the stage, and the difference in body shape between the two instantly caused a lot of laughter from the audience around him. So this is the David, looks ordinary. How can such an ordinary guy ask the Martial Arts Alliance and the Long family to protect him? This guy seems to be only a great master, how dare he come to power? Many people were talking about David, and they were all interested in David.